Okay, now we're going to go stroll down and look at your timetable. Okay, in other words, it says April 13th, April 20th, okay, so forth. Okay, this is what we're going to be looking at. In other words, the first week we're going to talk, or this week we're going to talk about why there's a need for black psychology. I mean, why is it? Why can't there are people out saying, why does it have to be black psychology? Why do we talk about white psychology? Why does it be black psychology? Why can't include everybody else? That would be great if the system was right. Okay, or as economists say, under ceteris paribus conditions, ceteris paribus means all things equal, that might work, but in real life, it's not different. So you have to understand it from that particular perspective. Okay, next week we're talking about educational system and its influence on African Americans. In other words, to a certain extent, the educational system is designed to keep people happy at their stations to a certain extent, or to maintain the power structure to a certain extent. And I'll explain what I mean when we get to that. Also, we're talking about the following week, on the week of the 27th, we're talking about deconstructing the perception of African Americans in the textbooks. Deconstructing those images you see in the textbooks may or may not be what they actually appear to be. Okay, particularly when it talks about how scholars view us, okay, or any people like that. Okay, and then further down, we'll go next week. That'll be in the May. Images in the media and their effect on the self-esteem of black children. Think about that. Black kids watch television. Okay, and they see how their people are portrayed in television. They go to school. They see how they see their perspective in school. The doll study. We'll talk about that later on. Matter of fact, you look to see if you can find the doll study. Anybody can email me some information about the doll study by Wednesday. I'll give you extra credit. Okay, what was the doll study all about? We'll say Kenneth Clark is the person associated with the doll study. But anyway, the self-esteem, the images, the media, that's why you got the results that you got in Kenneth Clark's study. Next week, that'll be May 18th, we're talking African American culture. Okay, and then we'll look at, by then you'll have an understanding of what it means to be an African-born American. Okay, and then we'll play with that to a certain extent. Then the following week, May 25th, we'll talk about race, class, economics. Okay, this is when we'll start getting into Michael Bennett's book. Okay, he has some really interesting insights to a certain extent. Okay, and then June 1st, we'll talk about other related issues, talking about the Great Migration, what happened there, the Harlem Renaissance, a lot of historical events that came on. And then on May 25th, we're talking about the extended self and self-concept. And also this is where we start getting into William Conwell's book, okay, which I need to put up there the next couple of days. Okay, in other words, how to empower key people, particularly how to inspire youth to a certain extent. Okay, I mean, my perspective, I'm not a fatalist. I believe that African Americans can turn things around. Okay, be honest with you. I mean, think about it in terms of if every African American who went to college went into teaching, we turn around one generation. That's all it takes, one generation. We turn it all around. Okay, but think about it in terms of extended self. But further down than June 6th, we're talking about public policy and African American family. And then from there, I'm not really sure where schools ends because I'm never. And then the final weeks, whether it's June 13th or whatever, I'm at how to make a difference. Okay, assignments, I'm not really sure yet. I'm still trying to figure it out. I do plan to give you a test, and I'll be testing you on the videos and the lectures. And these lectures I'm talking about are also on the PowerPoint. Okay, so if you look in your files section, you'll see a PowerPoint up there, which you're using your title. Use something the same title as the lecture. So this lecture I'm giving you now goes along with the PowerPoint that's on your file section. Okay, so you can either read it while you're watching it, or watch me and read it, or you just read it the same. But oftentimes it helps if you do it, if you hear it and then read it too. So with that said, let's talk about scientific colonialism. Scientific colonialism. Scientific colonialism is the political control of knowledge. The political control of knowledge. Okay, now 3 things, according to Wade Nobles, goes into scientific colonialism. You lie, you doctor the truth, and then from that, the people become conceptually incarcerated. Okay. Oh, that's not true. Well, all you really mean is that. Good example of that is how they did Egypt, or how Western scholars did Egypt. In the sense that Egypt, if you look at a map, is undeniably on the continent of Africa. But if you ask scholars, where is Egypt? It's the Middle East. Okay. You go back and look how ancient scholars describe the Egyptians. Herodotus, the father of history, described the Egyptians as having black skin and woolly hair. Aristotle referred to Egyptians. The Egyptians and Ethiopians are cowards because they have dark skin and woolly hair. Aristotle said that. The Egyptians and Ethiopians are cowards because they have dark skin or black skin and woolly hair. But when you watch the movies or watch television, you look at the textbooks, you see the Egyptians as anything but black. Okay, what is that all about? Well, we're lying about the key issue, because if you take Egypt out of Africa, now Africa becomes a jungle with savages and animals and gorilla-looking people. And so we keep Egypt out of Africa. But if you go back and look at the people who lived with the Egyptians and breathed with the Egyptians and interacted with the Egyptians, Aristotle, Plato, Socrates, Pythagoras, and they saw the Egyptians as black. But then you look at the textbook. If you take Egypt out of Africa, okay, and you make them think, well, it's something else, then black kids growing up saying, well, I only have slavery. Okay, let's think about that. There are three main theoretical perspectives on looking at black people, African Americans. Three theories, and all of them, everything else you hear comes from one of those three theories. And throughout the quarter, hopefully you'll be able to recognize it when you hear about some of what William Julius Wilson said about black folks, or what Tavis Smiley said about black folks. You'll know what perspective he's coming from. There are three main perspectives: inherent inferiority, cultural deprivation, and then cultural integrity.